Everyone, my name is Kay Chen, and I am currently an assistant professor from Tzu University Science and Technology in Hualien. And today, I'm very honored to come here to share with you my personal journey to international sports. I think all of you are new members, or probably the second member of this training course. And I'm here just try to share some of the journeys and what happened and what exactly you might do when you become a working member. Okay. So before I start my journey about the international affairs, I would like to talk a little bit about me, about myself. I don't know how many of you are sports or student athletes right now, or maybe some of you are working in sport association or federation, or some of you are just sports fans, okay? And me, I have some of athletic experience, which means I was actually once a tennis player, okay? This is Roger Federer, a very, very famous tennis player, and my skill of athletes is tennis. I started to train tennis since I was a very little girl because my grandfather, my father, all love tennis. And also my grandfather is a famous coach in Taiwan too. So in my background when I grew up, I learned to run, I learned to jump, and I learned to play in tennis court. And after that, I actually, because of tennis, I attend a lot of different tournaments. So I have a different experience to make a lot of friends and also travel in some different country. And after my high school, I start to learn in English in university, okay? So English is actually my major, which I study a lot of boring points of Shakespeare, okay? And however, during my college life, I actually stopped the very, very professional training in tennis. So I attend a lot of college life, just like normal of you. However, I still feel very passionate in English and also in sports. So I start to think, after English studying 4 years in university, what can I do after that? Do I go to work or I can do something else? So the next stage, I think some of you may be very familiar of this university logo because I think there may be some of you are from this school too, or you are currently a student in this school. And when you see the picture here, you might be wondering, these are all not sports company or enterprising logo. And why am I posting here? Because after I graduated from university, I started my graduate school in sports marketing, okay, in National Sports University in Lincoln. And yes, I just come back to sports field again. And I learned a lot of interesting about sports event, about sports sponsorship, about how to join and do a good sportsman, okay? And after that, I haven't stopped studying yet. Okay, another logo here. Yes, National Taiwan University. Is any of you come from here? I believe so, because I know every year this training course, there are a lot of students come from National Taiwan Universities. And where do I study there? I study about brain, but about sports and about psychology, about how to be happy, how to enjoy the sports, and how do you overcome the sadness or negative emotions, okay? So these are about me. So you can see not also the journey to international sports, you will see what I'm sharing. But how I grew up, my journey in life is diversity, okay? I play tennis, and then I studied English, then I studied sports marketing, about how do you make money from sports, and then I study sports psychology, how do you help athletes to think better, to think stronger, okay? Okay, so I apologize if this pictures might scare you, because I know some of you are scared of English, okay? So you think, oh my God, about supporting teams, you need to speak English. Well, not at all, not 100% right, because I want you to focus about the text under here. It's all about communication. As we know, in international, sports can be a kind of communication, right? I believe if you are athletes or if you are a sports lover, you do any kind of sports, it's possible to make friends, right? So we always say, oh, sport is the best promotion for international image, right? So, but of course, I have to say, you might need English in most of the times because it's just like an official language in the world. But there are also a lot of different ways when you come up some questions and you don't know how to speak in English, there are still also some way to communicate. For example, body image, right? If you go to some non-official language is English countries, English might be useless too. That's happened to me, okay? I will try to share with you in the next part, okay? Okay, so essential characteristics, okay? Everyone is an individual and everyone has different personalities. Some of you are very outgoing and some of you are very shy, okay? It all happens. But in this lessons, I would like to share with you, there are 3 essential characteristics, I think, if you want to join this team and if you want to stay in this team and if you want to feel happy when you supporting the sports events, okay? The first, passionate, okay? You can see these are little boys, and guess what sports is it? I think it should be not too hard. You can find it's a team sport, and it's a popular sport in Taiwan. We also call it, it's our national balls, yes, baseball team, right? And as you know, I don't think there are people, or there are boys or girls, you start to take a professional trend of baseball when you are already a college student, right? If you want to take a professional training in baseball team, you might start from very, very little when you go to primary schools. And how support you to stay in hot weather, hot fitness training is all about passionate, okay? So if you want supporting in international sports affair, passionate to sports is also very important, and not to single sports, okay? What am I talking about? Sports, like all kind of sports, team sports or single sports, okay? Second one, passions, okay? Archery is also a famous sport in Taiwan too. And as you know, some of people might think this is a very, very boring sport. And when you are trying to get good performance, you need to be very patient and patient because you need to wait and you need to take a deep breath, so make you go like in 10 or higher points, okay? And while supporting different sporting events, there are also a lot of times you need to figure out or you need to do things right with a lot of patience, okay? The last one, okay, this is a famous athlete in Taiwan. I believe all of you know who this girl is, okay? Positive thinking is very important. No matter you are athletes or no matter you want to join the working group of international sports affairs. Why? Because there are always different kind of questions coming up when you travel with the sports team. And there are always different kinds of bad situation might come up then during the game is going or before you are going or even after that. And how can you go over with it? That means you have to stay in positive, okay? When you see the questions, how are you going to solve it right? So these 3 essential characteristics, I hope you remember in mind. And also, it's like pre-telling or a pre-regulation that you know that if you are coming to join our working group, okay? Okay, so from now on, I'm going to talk about the real journeys that I have experienced when I joined different sports events. First of all, within these 2 weeks, you will take a lot of different lessons, right? And a lot of different fields about translating, about how to organize the sports events, And also, you will have the chance to discuss with your group. And eventually, after these 2 weeks lessons, all of you will need to choose an intern in Taiwan, okay? An intern sports event in Taiwan, so that you complete the whole training course, okay? And these 6 different sports events are the main journeys after I joined this training course and after I joined the working group, okay? The first one, do any of you know what kind of events is it? Any of you? I think there may be some of you are athletes in this sport, okay? This is in 2015. After I finished my training course, after I finished my lessons, I chose this sports event of my internship in Taiwan. And what do I do there? I am in charge of, there are actually 4 elite athletes. And I'm like a babysitter of these 4 elite athletes. So I eat with them, and I walk with them to the field, and I take care of everything what they need. Well, that's of course because, yes, they speak English, okay? But also, I joined some part how this event should run well, because this is an international event, okay? And after you complete your national internship in Taiwan, we have a working group, and also there were records, your internship reports, and also they will get some records from how you work within the states, and you might be able to be the chosen one. Why do I mean chosen one? Because, of course, there are hundreds of you sitting down here watching the video, and there will not be hundreds of different supporting tasks waiting there. So if they think you are good with it, capable with it, then you might have the chance to supporting the sports event internationally, okay? The first officially international sports event I support is the second picture here, okay? So do any of you know what kind of sports is it? Or even, are there any of you are also a member of this sports? This is softball and women's softball. Okay, this is a world championship in 2016 that held in Canada, Vancouver. Okay, and softball is a very, very big team sport. What I say is a very big team sport because the whole group of the representative team, there might be 30 of them, but there might be also only 1 or 2 supporting members, okay? And I will share a lot of softball sports events with you later on. The next one will be the wrestling, and this is also a world championship. And yes, you might already highlights the location here. Yes, I'm very lucky. The location of that year, it held sports events in Paris, okay? Okay, and the next also, I'm supporting also a part of Yonex Open, badminton, the Taipei Open. I believe there are still, I think the sports event is still going of this year, right? Because actually the coronavirus is getting eased out. So maybe some of you might have a chance to sign up for the internship in this event too, okay? And another sports I support is about weightlifting. It's also 2016, I remember, and it's in Japan, Tokyo. And recently, in 2018, I traveled with a women's softball team again to Japan again. And I actually traveled with them just that summer. Oh, it's actually about a year ago. We've traveled for totally 1 month, okay, to support them off-site training and also like join the different tournaments in Canada and the United States. Okay, so about supporting. There are actually a lot of things you need to do in different sections. We will go through of it step by step, okay? The first, before you go, what do you mean? What do I mean before you go? There are actually some important things I strongly recommend you must do before you go, okay? The first, food supply. Why do I mean food supply? Okay, there are a lot of different possibilities of food supply. If you're lucky, when I travel with the weightlifting games, the food, the meals of from breakfast, lunch to dinner are all set up already by the hostings, okay? But usually when I travel with softball team, as you know, as I just mentioned, softball team is a very big team sport. There are a lot of players and coaches and maybe trainers, blah, blah, blah. Each teams might comes with like 30 to 40 members. So it's actually impossible for the hosting side to provide you the food. And so that you will be the one that should be helping to see, okay, what can we eat in the morning and what do we eat at lunch? And after training or the games, what do we eat for dinner? So I strongly recommend you need to contact with the association you are traveling with and ask for some information about the location or the venues or the hotels where you live and where you might go, and find out the surroundings so that you can do some survey on Google to find out, oh, where there might be McDonald's, or are there Chinese foods, or maybe there are some supermarkets so you can grab some instant foods. This is a very important task you need to do before you go. And next, before you go, also there are some things you can do to help yourself to work easier, to work better, okay? The first thing, sometimes we might write a short letter to the hosting site to inform them, oh, actually we have some agreement with IOC and we have our certain Nlc protocol order if there is opening ceremony. And also we have our, I would say, special national anthem, okay, if they need it for a word ceremony. Anyway, it's just like a friendly reminder that you communicate with the hosting site so that you might be easier, which I mean easier is that you might reduce some possible questions or different situations about our team names or orders, okay? And the next is, if there are like a program of the events, you can get it at advance, or even the schedules, you can get at advance. Then you must start it first, because this will help you so much after you arrive there. Because there are also like bunch of different works that you cannot imagine of when you arrive at the place. So it's like a preview homework if you travel with the teams, okay? Like a preview homeworks. And also, here is international wrestling rules. Why I specifically put this on because wrestling is it's not a very popular sport in Taiwan, right? So I have to be honest, I've never seen any of wrestling games before I travel with our national wrestling teams to Paris. So rules is very, very unfamiliar to me. I've never known what they are doing in this sport. So in this way, studying the rules in advance will help me to get in this sports more quickly when I travel with them. Okay, so after I introduce some of paperwork or some of self-work you can do before you go. Now, the next part, I'm going to introduce you a very, very cool kid that I think, I love this kids actually, okay? Okay, so you will see this is a support kit if you travel with a sports team provided by our NOC, okay? So what do we have in this package? Okay, the first, there is going to be a very small USB, and within this USB, there will be, I think, maybe more than 10 documents, okay, PDF files, maybe 10 or maybe 12. They are all about supporting documents. About agreement documents, which I just mentioned, a very important one about what we signed with the IOC in 1981. And also, there are also documents about our NLC disorder order. This will be very important and very useful if there is a very, very fancy opening ceremony. You will never be one to see your sports team and walking in a ceremony in a huge and fancy field behind different or the wrong alphabet orders, okay? So there are also some PDF and supporting documents. And also there will be also very important files, audio files. It's about our NOC anthem, okay? As I think you know, our national anthem is different with what we call National Flags anthems, okay? 国旗歌 and 国歌 is different, right? And what do we use here? We call NOC anthem, okay? Because it's also a part of our agreement that we signed with the IOC. And this will be also very important when it comes to an award ceremony. Because as you know, when you are going to get your awards in the ceremony, usually you will see your national flags and the background music will be the anthems. So this is very important too, because the first thing, if you travel with a sports team, there is a little tips that I can share with you. I didn't mean to in respect to any sports, okay? If you travel today with, for example, okay, maybe badminton, okay? Badminton, as we know now, we have two very famous athlete badminton player now. So if you travel with them, it's very, very, very possible that they will get prizes. So they will attend award ceremonies. And that, the first thing when you arrive the events, I strongly recommend you to double check with the hosting site about the song, about audio files they will play when the players get on the awarding stage, okay? But if today the sports event is, you think, oh, or even some of the sports event, they actually don't have award ceremony. Yes, they do, okay? Then you can feel a bit relaxed about this, okay? Okay, and the next thing I'm going to show you is our Nlc Flags, okay? Nlc Flags. This is a very mini size of Nlc flag. You will see, oh, why do we need the Nlc flags? Because when you join the sport events, you might need to attend different kind of technical meetings with the sports team. And also, as I mentioned, the opening ceremony, usually the teams will need to walk in. So we have also different sizes of our Nlc Flags. Okay, this is a more normal size we can use. Okay, and we even have a bigger one, but I'm not going to show you here, okay? Because that one is really, really big. And maybe you will use it when there's a awarding ceremony. And also, Nlc stickers. This is my favorite things, okay? We have different size of Nlc stickers, like here, and also here. And what do we use for this? When we attend of some technical meetings, they might use the symbols wrong. So then you can provide the stickers and you can just cover it right, okay? If the programs or the accreditation, there can be any possible situation that you need to use the stickers. And also there are the pins of our NOC, okay, the pins here. This is very useful tiny things because sometimes you might need to communicate with the hosting site, or you might need to do some, make some good relationship with hosting site that they can help you to solve the problems. This can be a very nice and beautiful souvenirs. Okay, and also there will be a handbook of international sports affairs, okay? Within this handbook, there are a lot of different kind of agreements or regulation, and even there's also a checklist for the freshmen of our working group. So before you go, you can also open up this support kits and try to read the handbooks, so get into the situation more easily, okay? Okay, so after all the things I talk about before you go, now we are getting into the exactly journeys that I had, okay? The first, I will share with you from softball, okay? And in softball supporting journeys, there are some situations that I deal with. And the first thing I would like to share with you is about the national flags, okay, the flags we just talked about. Okay, there are a lot of NOC members, okay? Do any of you, how many NOC members exactly we have now? Okay, think about it or Google it now, okay? And as you can see, this is a screenshot from the official website of IOC. And you will see, okay, there are a lot of different countries' national flags. And you will see our NOC flags here. So now, when it comes to here, you all clearly understand what kind of flags we have to use when we go to a sports event, right? Okay, we are going to use this at NOC flags, okay? And the next here. Okay, do you feel very excited? Very, very huge Taiwan flags. Okay, this is a very, very huge size. This is my first journey when I traveled with softball team in 2015, when I'm just attending the internship. And there is going to be an opening ceremony. And I remember this is in a country in United States, in southern surrounding in southern of United States, Oklahoma. Okay, that is not a very popular city, and the people there are a lot of people still like to ride in a horse or something like that. So they prepare a very special way to hosting all the teams during these events, and we just saw, oh my God, they are holding Taiwan flags. Okay, you feel, yeah, very exciting, right? Okay, so after all the teams walk in baseball games, they're usually the hosting side will set up all the national flags around the field. And what we see, the first pictures, they just set up our Taiwan flags, okay? What a beautiful pictures, right? Okay, so the very important thing, I just take a screenshot first. And then after, I think, they're only about 10 minutes, maybe even shorter. Okay, oh, I have to mention one thing first. The sports event, there is also a tips that I would like to share with you. When you travel with a sports team, if China, they did not attend this sports events, then I think things will go easily, okay? What do I mean easily? Because they have their duty too. So they have to stay with their regulations too, right? So in this sports event, China, they are in this game too. So I would say probably less than 10 minutes. The second picture I take here, you will see empty, nothing here. Okay, so you don't even need to deal with it personally. They will deal with it, okay? Because I believe this already avoid the regulations they believe, okay? But what's happening next? The umpire of this softball games come to us, say, oh, we are very, very sorry. We just ordered your Nlc Flags online, but it says it's gonna arrive after 2 days. Okay, just like I mentioned, Oklahoma is not a big city in United States, so United States is such a huge country. So, and they just come to us, say, oh, we are very sorry, and we apologize. So there might be an empty like this within these 2 days. Well, how can you let it empty, right? Because we are a part of this game too. So, what's happening next? See, our Nlc Flags. And this flag actually comes from the support kits that I just showed you. Okay, so now you know how good is the kits. So after the umpires come to me, and we just feel very proud, say, oh, no, it's fine. Don't let it empty, because we have the Nlc Flags with us. What size you want, okay? I forgot to mention, there are actually, I think, three different sizes of Nlc Flags in the supporting kits, okay? And usually the 3 sizes are the most common size that you will use. So we just provided the bigger one for them 2 days, okay? Without any pay for the rentals, no, just kidding, okay? So this is what happened, the first thing, okay? The next. About flags on auditorium, okay? As you can see, in auditorium, usually when the people come to cheer up for their own countries, they will bring the banners or they will bring the flags. And here, about the things happening on auditorium, I would like to talk about you should stay with the passive principle, okay? Which means you do not need to get involved. You do not actually need to get involved what's happening in auditorium, because it's actually out of your, not out of your duty, but it's not a thing that you can control, okay? Because you never know who is coming today, right? And you never know what they are bringing today. Okay, so the first picture is also, I traveled with the softball team in Vancouver. As you know, there are a lot of Taiwanese students in Vancouver, and there are also a lot of Taiwanese live in Vancouver. So for them to bring the national flag with them to go everywhere is just a very easy thing, okay? So this is what's happening. And the next day, there are a lot of uncles and aunties. They live in Vancouver, and they are very passionate of cheering up of our softball team. So you can see they bring their own little flags to the game, okay? So the reason, the regulation is actually on hosting side. So if you really worry about it, okay, the things you can do is you can go talk with the hosting side and ask about the regulation they have in auditorium of this sports event. Okay, so this is what I did. I actually went to talk with the umpires, and they say, well, they're just auditorium, so they think it's actually fine. So we are just peaceful with that, okay? But you see the third picture here? This is in an opening ceremony, okay? So this is a big event within this game. So I double check with the hosting side again. And I say, we actually have some small Nlc flags. And they suggested us if we would like to sharing with this passion audience that it might be better, okay? So what we did is we provide them our small, handy Nlc flag. And we talk to them, say, well, it actually might be better if you can use this. And so they feel it too. Okay, so it come up with this. So within this slide, I would like to share with you is that about the flags, how with the passive principle. You have to stay on it to know is everything okay with it, but you do not need to intervene by yourself actively, okay? But the support kids will helping you a lot if there are some situation coming up. However, there are one thing I would like to mention about is if you are attending a very, very official sports event, you need to be careful with it, okay? This is the World Championship, and this World Championship is also a qualifiers of Asian Games in softball. So it's very important. And these are a group of very passionate, supporting softball fans. There are bankers in Taiwan, and they travel by their own all the way from Taiwan to Tokyo. And they bring the drums, and they are very professional. They bring the Nlc flags. Those flags are not the flags from our supporting kids. It's their own stuff, okay? They just bring it all the way from Taiwan to Tokyo because they are aware of how important this game is. And actually, I talked to the hosting side of the World Championship of this game. They actually tell us that, oh, the auditorium, if we can, hope we can help to tell the audience to stay with the regulations too, okay? Okay, so now I'm going to introduce you some of the routine works before the game really starts, but after you already arrive the cities with the teams, okay? The first thing, very important, technical meeting. Technical meeting is a very important part for softball games because there might be rule information, umpire information, game schedule information, okay? And the first thing when you get into the meeting room, you need to check is our Nlc names, okay? Make sure Chinese Taipei, good. Chinese Taipei, good. And even you can see the abbreviation TPE, good, okay? So usually when you attend a technical meeting, it is a symbol about, well, there be a lot of situation coming up during the games. Why? Because in technical meeting, you will receive a lot of documents or like programs of the games and accreditations for all the players. So if everything is perfectly for what you get in the meeting, that basically they are good for the agreements, okay, the IOC agreements. And if there is something wrong in technical meeting, then you have to stay very carefully and you have to talk to the hosting site, ask them to change it, okay? And in the technical meeting, what do I really do, okay? The first thing I check about everything is going right with the IOC 1981 agreements. And the next thing is they will probably talk about the game agenda. Then you have to write it down carefully. The game schedule, shuttle bus, warming up course, then you have to all write it down carefully. And the next part, usually in technical meeting, you will get accreditation for the players, okay, for the coaches, for the whole team. before that, you will need to do the passport check. Okay, passport check. This is, I'm not very sure if the other sports do that, but in softball games, they do this part very strictly, okay, because they need to make sure the names and the passport information so that can match what you provide when you do the registration, okay? And the next part is also you need to complete before the game really starts. It's about bat chatting, okay? Bat chatting, I don't play basketball, so I don't know if there's any of you are baseball players. Maybe you can share with me. Do baseball games need to do the bat chatting too? As I know, what we do, the bat chatting in softball games, they do two things, okay? The first thing is, you might see there's our stickers here, okay? Can you see there are stickers here? Each game, they will have their own stickers, okay? And after the bat chatting pass, they will put the stickers on your bats. And two things need to check in bat chatting. The first is the pressure of the bats. Okay, there are specific numbers and you need to reach of the pressure. And the second thing is there are a lot of different manufacturers of bats, right? And however, there might be some bats which it does not meet to the WBSC's regulation. So if the bats miss the regulation, the bats comes with the WBSC certification stickers already, okay? So what happened is we probably will bring like 20 bats for the whole team to use, right? 20 bats. And what happening is there are one bat. It's actually certified bats. It is, but the sticker just disappear, probably during we are traveling or something, disappearing, okay? So then you cannot use that bat, okay? You can still use it for your own team's warming up, but you cannot use it during the games, okay? So these are probably the routine games that we will do before softball game starts, excuse me. And next on, what do you do in the games, okay? So it's coming up stuff from very busy, tight schedule because usually if you watch a basketball games, it's just like basketball games, right? From the beginning to the game's ends, it takes about like 2 hours, at least 2 hours. And as I just mentioned, softball is a very, very big sports team, right? So everything they do, it takes time. And what they get used to do is they need like 2 hours warming up. So 2 hours plus 2 hours, 4 hours, half day's gone already, okay? But it might happen double match one day. What does it mean double match? It means one game in the morning and you got another game in the afternoon and you have to warm up again. So as you can figure, as you can imagine it, like 8 hours already gone with the games, okay? Warming up, okay? The very important things you need to do in-game is you have to double confirm where is the warm-up field, okay? It might be inside field or outside field. And for softball, because there are always a lot of teams join the games, and so a lot of players, right? So usually there will not be only one warm-up field. There may be like 2 or 3 or maybe 4 warm-up fields. And the hosting site will give you a schedule called warm-up schedule. At what time and what place, and the transportation, like it belongs to Chinese Taipei team, okay? And another one will be game schedule. So you have to stay on it very carefully, okay? The next, in the game, I might need to walk with the coach. That's why. You need to figure out which field is like number 1, field 1, field 2, field 3, field 4. There's one time that we traveled to I think it's a city near Atlanta, okay? It's a very, very, very big softball field. There are 8 fields in the complex. It called South Common Softball Complex Park, 8 fields. Okay, so before that, you need to work with at least one coach to figure out each locations of the different fields. In that way, you will not lost in a park when the game is about going to start. Okay, so also, before you go, I just mentioned, you have to look up the maps, the location, the surroundings of the sports event, right? And when you really arrive the main avenues of the sports event, I strongly recommend you need to be familiar of the surroundings too and the locations, okay? And the second, toasting time. Okay, in softball game or baseball games, there are home teams or visitor team. This will related to the colors of the player's form you need to wear, right? The light color or the dark color. Usually, as I know, because I travel with the softball teams a lot, they will have 2 colors of uniforms, okay? And one should be dark and one should be light. So for like Chinese Taipei, you will see like this is a dark color for Chinese Taipei. And we have another one, it's all red. We call it light color. And if you are home team, then probably the hosting side, they will set up the rules already. Like home team, you wear light. And visitor team, you wear dark, like, you know, for example, as I did. So every time after the game schedule, you already knows it, and you will need to go with the coaches and to join the toast. They will do a coin toss to decide you are home or a visitor, okay? Sometimes, but sometimes the hosting side may already set everything up. Then you just need to follow this easier, okay? And the next thing in-game you need to do, you will join the home plate meeting, okay? This is what the baseball or softball they will do, okay? Greetings, and the umpires usually will just announce few regulated things and about the time, everything. And the next I think the most important part and also difficult part is during the whole game, you will stay with the players in the dugout. Why? Because there might be times that the coaches need you to fight. No, just kidding, not fight, okay? There might be times that you need to apply the protest about the situation that umpire did, okay? The judgment, okay? You might need to, oh, I'm sorry, this is for sure everything? So when the game is really start, you need to be very concentrated in the dugout because you will never want to miss a ball or miss a hit because you will never know what's happening. So this is very important in game, okay? Okay, what else? This is a tip that I would like to share with you, okay? When I travel with the softball team, as I mentioned, a lot of teams and tight schedules. And usually they will have like round robins, which means you need to, for example, if there are totally 10 teams join this sports events, at this, you will need to have 9 games. Because they will do like a group games, okay? You need to play with all the different teams, okay? So the schedule you can see very tight, right? 1 day, 2 match, double match, and in what fields. So every night, for softball teams, they usually will do is like every night we will gather together and had a short meeting about the schedule. So usually we will write it down. Okay, in group 1, what countries, group 2, what countries, and what group we are in. First thing we need to change. And any possibilities of time, game schedules, okay? What do you need to do, right? And this is very tiring because you need to write down the memos and you have a pile of papers because it might be a game of a whole week, right? So after 2 years, 2015, 2016, and I traveled with them again 2018 and 19. What I did is this, what I call work evolutions, to make it work easier, to make a whole team work easier, to make information more clear. Okay, so I set up Excel format, and this you can see. I will this up. Okay, August 2nd. In what time we need to departure, and where are we going to, the location, and what are we going to do there. Okay, and we might need to take the shuttle bus for like an hour. So this, how do I know the estimated time? You have to do the search by yourself, okay? And also, what I just said about food supply. Lunch, what are we going to do? Okay, for example, like today, the warming up time is lunch time. So what did we do? We will order a lunch box before we departure, and everybody bring a box, okay? And okay, so maybe like, okay, this is a very tight scheduled day. You can see here, we have double matches, right? Double matches, and we have 2 scheduled warming up. And what are we going to do for the lunch and the dinner, okay? And we are lucky because we have breakfast in hotel every day, so you can skip it, okay? So this is a evolution about supporting work you can do. And probably in future time, you will have more work evolution. You think about it, okay? Okay, and what else that might be happen if you join this working group? There might be also off-field works, okay, off-field works. In 2018, okay, I traveled with staffs of Chinese Taipei Softball Association, okay, and we went to join Asian Softball Confederation Congress. And the main task I am responsible in this travel, in this journey, is we are going to have an election of the head of this confederation, okay? And of course, I'm lucky, you know, we need to go through the agendas, and also I need to make a statement of what will be we are doing if we are honored to get this title, and So basically, yeah, like for this supporting text, I'm more like a translator. Yeah, more like a translator. But this is also because I traveled with softball team for a long time, you know. So I gained a lot of trust with them, and I don't play softball, actually. I play tennis, right? And I feel very interesting travel with them because, as you know, tennis is a single sport, okay? You don't really do teamwork, right? And so I learned a lot from them. And so I feel very pleasure and honor that they call me and say, oh, Kay, can you help to join this election because you are familiar with this sports. And also you can see some of the members here. I actually meet with them before this Congress. Why? Because I travel a lot with softball team. And these are all the different important members of like Singapore, Malaysians, or Japan. So we already had some good relations. Okay, so this is a very interesting journey too. Okay. Okay, so after softball, we are going to talk about weightlifting journeys, okay? Weightlifting journey. Also, this is Asian Youth Junior Weightlifting Championship. It's also a very, very big sports event. But weightlifting, as you can see, we have a group of members, okay? So it's like a big team too. But actually, each of them, they are going to attend their own weight group, okay, to do the weightlifting. So the first thing we need to do is, of course, when we arrive at the airport, you need to make sure the transportation is good. So you need to find the shuttle instructions, okay? And you need the whole teams to do it. Yeah, it's a little bit like a babysitter, but interesting, okay? Very interesting. And also, first thing, the technical meeting. Okay, and the technical meeting of weightlifting is very different with softball because they don't actually have the equipment need to check. But they also need to do the passport checking too. And also, what they are doing here is, this is a little small, okay, but actually this is a part that is about verification of your registration. Because, for example, we might have like 5 players, and player A probably attending, okay, 65 kilogram group. And player B is going to 50 kilogram group, okay? But in weightlifting tournaments, there is a last chance that you can change it, okay, the last minute, to make sure which group exactly your players is going to attend. So we are doing here. And also, the hosting side, they just show you the shuttle bus directly here. So I just need to take it down because we have like, I remember, we probably have like probably 15 players attending this sports event. But each of them, they have different game schedule, you know, according to the groups they are in. So that will be very important that you distribute and tell them the information about shuttle bus of different group according to the game time, okay? Okay, and in games, what do we do in weightlifting? Of course, the first thing, you have to make sure transportation is going good every day, in the morning, in the afternoon, okay? And when you arrive at Van Avenue, check everything. This is a warming up site, and you have to check, oh, exactly what time we can use, and what cubes belongs to Chinese Taipei, okay? And is the equipment they provide, it's good for use, okay? Also, in weightlifting, very interesting, this is sauna room, okay, for heating, sauna room. Why do they need a sauna room? Because they say when they are attending the weightlifting games, as I just mentioned, for example, the registration is in 60 kilogram group, but the players just probably eat too much within these 2 days, so the weight is over. And then they will need to get into the sauna room before they standing on the weight machine to make sure, you know, exactly the players match the group's regulation, okay? And also there is a recovery room too. And so you will need to find out where are this located, okay? So you can provide the correct information to the sports team. And also, you have to stay in the avenue to make sure, okay, like here, you stay with the players to make sure the schedule is on and like remind, okay, it's about time, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and stay here to make sure everything is going fine. Do they need help? Do they need any communication help, anything, or technically, you need to make sure everything is going fine. And the desk here, as you can see, yeah, we got the players that got a worse stage, right? So before this happening, I actually do 3 times check with the hosting side. Okay, everything is just going right, okay? The protocol order, the Nlc flag, everything is going right. But about the anthems. The first time I checked with them, oh, it's really not the correct one. So thanks God I did a check, right? But before it's going to, the award ceremony is happening, I don't know why, I just want to make a double check. So I walk in again. I'm sure, can we just double check and you know, you have to very politely, oh, I want to make sure if I give you the right dance of the anthem. I don't know what's happening. The file is just not right again. So I provide a second time. Okay, so that is what I just mentioned earlier. When your players is going to attend the awards ceremony, it is so important because look at that. What we got here, gold medal. You wouldn't want you got anything wrong, especially when your team's got a gold medal, okay? So please be careful on this. Okay, the next sports I'm going to share is wrestling, okay? Do any of you ever watch a wrestling game? I personally actually no. Or do any of you athletes from wrestling? Oh, we are actually having a member in our working group. He was a wrestling player, wrestling athletes, okay? So before game, first thing, okay, now you must know, right? If I ask you, what are you going to do after you arrive the local airports? Find where the transportation is, okay? First thing, very important, because if without them, you will never want to spend your own money to get to the venue or the hotels, right? Especially if you are bringing the whole teams, right? Okay, so when we arrive the venues, first thing also, we need to get an accreditation. So we find the reception desk. And do you still remember where the game this city is? I say I was very lucky in Paris, okay? Downtown Paris. But France, they are just so romantic, right? So this is a picture I took because I feel very, very boring. I sit here, and this is, you can see, accreditation desk. This is where you can get accreditations, okay, accreditation here. I sit here for like an hour because I don't know what's happening and I don't know where did they go, okay? And so the coaches, they are just sitting outside waiting. So I just mentioned you need to be patient, right? Anything could happen. You need to wait for a long time. You need to be patient. But what did I do this time? I actually walked to the reception desk and I asked for some information. And I actually walked out too to find out the daily shuttle bus location. And I also figured out when is the technical meeting and is there any regulations. Oh, as you can see, the technical meeting here is like a freestyle, okay? No decks for every teams. And Slovakia and Czech Republic, Turkey. So you can see everybody just sit on your own. There's nothing to do about protocol order. So it is fine, just a freestyle. It happens. Well, and you might be asking, oh, is this because this game is a small game? No, this is a very, very big wrestling game, World Championship, okay? And this is in 2017. And do you know what is the next hosting country after Tokyo? Paris, okay? 2024, Paris will be hosting the Olympic Games too. So actually the hosting side, they are making this sports event like a preview and intern big like Olympic Games rules and regulations, okay? So you can see all the images, okay? And so I also walk around the avenue to find out the training room, the waiting room, also the medical control, okay? It might happen if your team members need to attend the medical control, okay? So you will need to figure it out. And also warm-up room and calling room too, okay? You have to stay in calling room before you get on the games. And the warm-up, when you find out the warm-up room, there's one thing I need to remind you. Warm-up field or warm-up room, it's usually a sharing, okay, a sharing place. So you need to find out, is there any time restrictions or is there any member restrictions, like one time only 2 members or 3 members, and you have to figure out if there's anything you cannot do within this field, okay? And the waiting room, this is a little similar with weightlifting, okay? You need to do the weigh-in first. Make sure you are qualified in these weight groups, okay? And also, what I got, the game schedule, okay? You need to be very specifically understand about the game schedule, so you won't want to mess up about the times. And in games, they use the electronic Nlc Flags run, okay? They didn't hand in the real big flags, okay? So also the first thing you need to check, protocol order, alphabet T, good, okay? Abbreviation TPE, good. And the flags, correct, okay, you're safe now. Watch it again, okay? So, look at here. I am very surprised about this, the numbers of the audience, okay? Because as you might know, as I just mentioned, wrestling is not, I think it's not that popular in Taiwan. But in Europe, they are such crazy about this sports event. And do you believe this? All the people you see here, they pay for it, okay? They buy the tickets, okay? So in the first day of the game, in the early morning, I see the entrance, there's a line of people that are waiting to buy the tickets to come in to see the games, okay? And for the wrestling, in this game, they have very security reasons. So I am not be able to get down to the field personally. There are very restrict regulation. Only a players, coach, and one trainer. Okay, one trainer. So you can see this is a Chinese Taipei team. Okay, and they are just playing. And for me, this is a very interesting journey. Why? Do any of you know about the rules of wrestling? You know, the most long time is, I think, I remember 3 minutes, okay? Please give me answers if I was wrong, okay? I remember 3 minutes. But it's not like boxing, you have like round 1, round 2. No, only one round. So, you see the big circles here, right? And they are just pushing each other. You see the symbols here, pushing each other. There are 2 ways you win a game. The first way, do anything you can to push out your opponents outside of the circle. Okay, this is one thing. You can even rise it up and just throw it away, okay? Second thing, you push your opponent down in the front, okay? And there are umpires here. They will start to count. 1, 2, 3, 10 seconds. If you still can't stand up, it's over. So I was so surprising because if you pay to come to see the game, and what if the game just end in 10 seconds? And think about the athlete, they train so hard. For us, we fly all the way from Taiwan to Paris, like more than 10 hours of journey, and you warm up and you stay there for like 2 days, and the third day, 10 seconds is over. Okay, a very cool sport, right? Okay, so very interesting experience, okay? Okay, so we're coming to about the end, okay? And I use give and take to do the end part of my experience sharing. Why I say give and take? Because as you might see, you give out a lot, right? You need to do a lot of things. You need to talk, you need to buy food, you need to arrange the schedule for them. Sometimes, not sometimes actually, when I travel with softball team, I forgot to share with you. They need to wear the softball uniforms, right? But they only have 2 uniforms only. And the whole game can lasting for like a whole week. So, and they sweat a lot, like to warm up every day. What can they do? We need to find a washing machine. But usually there are not that much washing machine in hotels, and it's expensive, right? We have like 20 or 30 of us. So usually, another thing when I travel with softball team, I must do is find self-laundry. Okay, you even need to find self-laundry, okay? And you will be like a babysitter with them. But also, when you give at the same time, you take back something too. So what did I learn? when I do all kinds of supporting journeys with different sports teams in the working group. The first, of course, I learned a lot of knowledge of Olympic movements, right? Regulations and the events and what do they do and what is going on. Because usually I believe a lot of you only watch certain sports once for a year. What do I mean once for a year? Because the Olympic Games or Asian Games or even the soccer World Cup is once for years, right? And besides the games that are really going on, you don't really watch those. So you were not familiar about what's going on in Olympics, what's going on about Olympic movements. Okay? Trust me, of course, within these 2 weeks, I believe you learn a lot about Olympic movements too. But learning and doing, there are still, slightly different. So when you really do, you learn more, okay? And the second, you will learn a lot of interpersonal lessons, okay? Because as you can see, when you are supporting the sports team, what you do is all about people. You might have some conflicts too. Trust me, yes. Okay, but you might also learn from the conflicts, and you will learn a lot of interpersonal relationship experience. There might be bad, but trust me, most of them are good. Okay, you make friends. I even make some friends with the umpires of WBSC. Yeah, very interesting because they just keep seeing me, and you might become friends too. And the third one. Proactive attitude. What is proactive? Do you know that? Proactive is another side of passive. Proactive means you do things in advance. Okay, you don't need people telling you, but you do it in advance. So I just shared with you, there are a lot of things you can do before you go, right? And even during the games, for example, how do you make yourself work better? You can do some evolution, you can do the sheet by yourself, and you can always ask proactively, okay? And I believe this is a life attitude that helps a lot in your own life too, not only when you are doing this job, okay? And the last one, colorful sports experience, okay? You will get a chance to get in touch with a lot of different kind of sports and different kind of sports rules and different kind of sports feel, and you travel too, okay? But there's the last thing I want to remind you. When I travel with wrestling in Paris, I don't really have time to do tourists, okay? But another side, when you share with your friends, say, oh, I just traveled Paris, and they probably will ask, oh, did you go to Eiffel Tower? Or you say, no, I don't have time. And they will be, what? But you might be able to share with them, but I've been what place? And usually those are the places that tourists will not visit, right? So this is about give and take, okay? Okay, so that will be the end of today. Thank you for attention, and I'll be very welcome if you have any question want to discuss with me. Okay, thank you.